Module 2 by Jay Varnes for course MMC 3407. Let's talk about the urban and suburban use of cultural familiarity on billboards. It is important to use cultural familiarity on a billboard so you target your core audience. Your demographics such as age, sex, gender, income, race, religion play into cultural familiarity. According to field expert Robin Landon, let's compare some cultural familiarities in the slides provided. Cultural familiarity, your urban culture familiarity would be signs, bars on windows, graffiti, buildings, horns honking. You can see in these pictures that I provided of some what I consider urban areas. You can see children playing with, there's graffiti on the wall and block walls, and the top picture is a little girl like in a fountain, and she's got buildings and skyscrapers and stuff behind her. When you take a look at the suburban setting, you're going to see a totally different scene. Your cultural familiarity there is you have trees and grass setting and groups of people gathering in a playground and gravel and a little fence and you kind of looks like the city in the background there, but so it's not within the city. It's more of a setting that's got more less buildings and let's say concrete blacktop and block walls and more of that grass homey feeling to it. With this, viewers can be triggered by cognitive visual elements. Those elements include memories, experiences, and expectations. Urban and suburban viewers may be affected differently by seeing the pictures that I've presented. An individual who lives in the suburbs will not react the same to the urban picture because it does not relate to any memories or experiences they've had. Any experience they've had. The same goes for somebody living in an urban area seeing a billboard tailored for suburban living. So, when you see it, let's say I'm from the inner city, I'm from urban setting, and I see a billboard that's basically tailored for the suburban of the country. That means nothing to me. I'm going to drive, I'm going to look at it, I'm probably going to look away and say, oh, that's for a suburban setting, so that's for the upper class rich people. That doesn't apply to where I'm from. Or vice versa. If I'm from the suburbs and I see a billboard tailored to the urban setting, that's not for me. That's for poor people, or that's inner city kids or people of race even. There is some racial innuendos that could come along with that, and it triggers no emotions, or it could trigger some emotions. It all depends on the individual. When you think of emotional engagement and billboard usage, field expert Robin Landon states that suburban viewers' emotional response could be empathy, it could be disgust, fear, or nothing. The urban emotional response could be jealousy, resentment, wishful, anger, or nothing at all. Again, I'm from the urban setting and I see a suburban billboard. I could be jealous. I could resent those folks. I could wish I lived there. I could be mad. Why is this in my area? It doesn't apply to me. Or I could feel nothing at all and just drive by it, and vice versa for somebody that would live in a suburban setting seeing an urban setting. So it's important that we key into the areas that we are targeting when we are creating a billboard so it applies and it has it hits home, has that emotional attachment or triggers that memory. So when they read it, they see it, and it has a meaning to them. Let's talk about Semitic codes. When you talk about Semitic codes, the first thing that we're going to talk about is metonymic code. These are signs that cause viewers to make assumptions. So two pictures here I got. I have the urban setting, and as you can see, we have the child playing in the fountain, and we have the children with the brick wall. This could mean that an assumption is graffiti in the city, or buildings in the city, or block walls could mean poor. So when I think of graffiti, I think of inner city, or when I think of buildings, I think of inner city, I think of skyscrapers. Or somebody could see this picture of these African American kids playing in the graffiti in a block wall, and they could think poor, underclass, underprivileged. When you look at a picture that I showed you prior of the suburban setting, you think trees, I may think happiness. I see a park, kids could think fun, or have that jealousy again, or resentment. Or we see that group of people, that picture I had with the group of people, that could mean that wealth. I could be thinking that those people are wealthy, or snobs, or stuck up. The analogical piece, that signs that cause users to make mental comparisons. So when we look at this, the picture on the right, again, I'm going to go to the mental comparison, could be that they're poor or lower class. They may not be. Mom and dad may be raising these children, and they could be middle class. But just because the setting that they're in, it could mean that they're poor. This picture here I have of the child playing in the park. That could have a mental comparison of, again, of privileged or upper class. Displaced transfers meaning from a set of signs to another. This was really difficult for me. So I took a picture of, we're talking about a sheriff or police department making a billboard. So I took this picture, you can see, and I put with the people in the park, and I put hands with children and child protection. If we go back a slide, I have the picture of the sheriff's logo up in the corner with the child playing in the fountain. This is something that could be indicated also to make that displaced. So when we talk about condensed with urban and suburban, several signs combine to form a new sign. I combine these pictures in here of the sheriff's logo to create a new sign on that picture, or this next one. I have the child protection here. But you could even take these two pictures, and if somebody was really good, you could do a billboard that had half of the park and half of the child playing in the fountain, and create one billboard, and that may trigger a memory, because when I go by, I say, oh look, there's a park, but then we have the other kids over here playing. Or if I'm from the urban, I could say, oh, there is the buildings and the kids playing in the inner city, but oh look, there's some kids playing in the grass too. So you can blend them and form a new sign, so it attracts and appeals to both people that we are trying to send our message or signal to.